Good morning, students. Today we'll start our next chapter, Force and Laws of Newton. So before studying about laws of Newton, first we should understand what a force is. Now force is a physical quantity and it is a vector physical quantity. Okay, that means it has magnitude as well as direction. It is a vector quantity which enables us to do certain things. One of the things are it enables us to change the state of rest or motion of a body. That is, if a body is at rest, we can apply force in a certain direction and it will start moving. Similarly, if a body is in motion, we can apply certain force in a certain direction and we can bring that body to rest, or we can increase the speed of the body. So that way, by applying force, we can change the state. By this first point we derive the second point. It changes the speed of body. That is, it is not there are not only two cases that we can bring the moving body at rest or make the body at rest to move. We can also change the speed. If the body is already moving, we can apply force in opposite direction of the motion and reduce the speed of the body. Similarly, we can apply the force in the direction of motion of body and increase the speed of body. Thus, we can also impart acceleration and deceleration by using force. The third use that we have is the change in the shape of body. By applying force, the certain body shapes can be changed. For example, sponge. If we apply force on sponge by our hand, it changes its shape. Rubber balls, anything made with soft rubber or soft plastic or sponge can be easily changed in shape. You can do it at home also. Okay, so these are the various uses of force. Now force is of two types. One of the type of force is balanced force. Now what is a balanced force? Suppose we'll understand it with an example. Suppose there is a box, okay, and there are two forces that are applied on this box. One in this direction, let us say it is force F1, and another force in this direction, force F2. Now we can see that the direction of F1 and F2 are in opposite to each other. What if force F1 and F2 are equal in magnitude? What will happen to the box? Will the box move or will it stay in rest? Now we can see by applying common sense also, we can see that if both F1 and F2 are equal in magnitude and they are directed in opposite directions to each other, towards each other, then the box will not do, it will stay in its place, it will not do any motion. Okay, so that means the net result of F1 and F2, or we can say net force here, is equal to 0, because the body is not changing its state, it is not moving, it is continuing to stay in rest position. So we can say that net force equals to 0. So any forces, pair of force or more than two forces, three forces, five forces, n number of forces, if the net result of all those forces is 0, then such forces are called balanced forces. These balanced forces can only be used to change the shape. If suppose this box was made up of sponge, then it will compress. It will look like this. Both of the forces will compress. That means they will change the shape of the body, but they are not making the body to move. Okay, so such forces whose net result is 0 are called balanced forces. Another type of forces is unbalanced force. Unbalanced forces. Let us take similar example. Again there is a box and two forces are applied, F1 and F2. Both are towards each other, so opposite in direction. Now let us say that F1 is less than F2. Now if F1 is less than F2, then we can easily see that the box will move. And in which direction will it move? It will start moving in this direction. That is the direction of greater force. Why does this happen? Because the forces are not balanced, one force is greater than the other, that means the net force is not equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, it will have some value and the body will act or start moving accordingly the direction of force. In this example, since F2 is greater, so body will start moving in the direction of F2. If F1 would be greater, if F1 were greater, then the body will move in the direction of F1. So such forces in which the net force not equal to 0 are called unbalanced forces. Okay. So this is about forces in your class 9th. This is, now we come to the Newton's laws of motion. So first law of Newton, it states that, let me give the definition first. It states that if a body is at rest, then it will continue to be at rest, or if body is in motion, it will continue its motion. Now both these cases are for infinite time. That is, that if I say that body is at rest, then it will continue to be at rest for infinite length of time. Or if the body is in motion, it will continue to move for infinite movement, for infinite amount of time. Unless, now there is a condition, unless external forces are absent. That means these two conditions are true only if there are no external force. Okay, let us understand it with the help of an example. Now let us say the body is in motion. Okay, there is a ball which is moving on a floor in this direction. Now if there is no external force, the external force is 0, then what will stop this body? We already studied that force is used to change the state of motion. If we need to bring the body at rest, then we have to apply force on the body. Now if the body is moving in this direction, we have to apply force in opposite direction to stop this body. But if this external force is absent, then there is nothing that will stop this body and it will keep on continuing to move in the same direction for infinite amount of time. Okay, similarly, if a body is at rest, if this ball is at rest and there is no extra force, there is no external force, then how will this body move? It will not move, it will stay at rest till infinite amount of time. What are the external forces here? If this body is moving, then there are what external forces are there on this body? The most prominent force, the most noticed force is the force of friction. While moving, the body will face a force of friction. Now we know that friction is always in the opposite direction of motion. So this friction force will be in this direction. Now this is an external force. Now when this external force is applied on this body, then it will slowly reduce the speed of the body till it comes to rest. Okay. Similarly, if I apply a force on the body at rest, suppose I push it, then this is an external force. As soon as external force is applied, the body will start moving in the direction of force. So that means the first law of Newton is, when the body is at rest, it will continue to be at rest, or the body is in motion, it will continue to be a motion unless an external force is applied on the body. If that external force is in the direction of motion, it will increase the speed. If that external force is in the opposite direction of the motion, then it will reduce the speed till the body comes to rest. Similarly, if the body is at rest and an external force is applied, the body will start moving in the direction of this force. Okay, so this was the first law. The other laws, second and third, we will learn in separate videos. Thank you.